Toni really don't give a damn, I think. And I don't think it's from a negative place. I think it's just from a place of I very much exist independent of this family group. And that's what my real life is. I feel like that's what I see.
Dustin, I feel like we're breaking a case here. You just sparked a thought in my mind.
For real. You see what I'm saying? You feel me? Like
yeah,
I
yes,
think
but then, now that you opened up a whole other door in my brain, Dustin, because now I'm thinking, if I'm Toni Braxton and I'm this beautiful Libra superstar, that does matter, honey. Okay. And I am one of one.
Hold on, Blue. Does being a Libra matter in this conversation? Tell me
what
yes
I'm about
or no.
to say, absolutely. Yes,
Okay,
it absolutely does. So I'm the shiny one, right? And then
Yeah.
I realized I'm from the church, and I had to do this show as my form of tithing. No disrespect. When Toni Braxton first did Braxton Family Values, it was like she was tithing. She was giving 10% to the family so they could get off her ass, right? So you do that, and it's real cute. But then the annoying little sister that whenever I'm around her, I immediately gaslight her for fun because I've been doing it my whole life with my sisters. Like we always collectively do this thing with Tamar. It's so easy to make her feel dismissed, right? The thing that I've always told my sister was see her as the one that's fun and cute, but if she's ever too much, it's easy to dismiss her. Like a fly shoe, right? And then she becomes the breakout star. And there becomes rumbles where little sis is a bit of an asshole because we didn't teach her emotional regulation as matriarchs. So it's going to her head that the audience is affirming her in the way that I haven't. If my other sisters who are obsessed with me keep on picking on her, two things are happening. Number one, we have content. And number two, the deep part of my ego that at one moment around season 3 thought that I might have competition never has to worry about that happening. Because my other two sisters will always neutralize her star power. And so there's this thing that happens where Tamar was clipping on my heels when the audience was obsessed with her. But now that she keeps on getting pulled very easily like Cardi B, because she likes emotional regulation, and I had plenty of it as Toni D. Braxton. There's a certain level of my ego that never has to be fully threatened as long as Tamar is continuing to be gaslit. And to your point, Justin, it doesn't even really affect my life. 2 birds, 1 piece of bread, right? I just the way
look at Dustin's face. Dustin's face.
And you guys,
no, you're right. It's Justin. My name's Justin. That's fine.
and you guys, I will say this: I have an unfair thing that's working because I serve about 500 clients a year, and many of them are celebrities.
Can I be 501?
You confess to me a lot, so I'm starting to be like, I know a client. Thank you, Dustin. You just cracked this open for me.
Oh, I appreciate
that.
No,
you cracked it. That was okay. We have to dive into that. And by the way, Blue, I'm signing up to be number 501 of your clients. Send the retainer to Lizzie. Okay, so
it's confidential. I don't share nothing. It's all confidential.
Okay, you better not. All right, good. So with that being said, wow, I do want to piggyback off of that. Because one thing that you did bring up in our last episode, Blue, was the infamous episode where Iyanla Vanzant was featured on the Braxtons, and it was phenomenal. Piggybacking off what you just said in that episode, and this is a direct quote from Toni Braxton as it relates to what she told Iyanla when asked about whether or not she felt guilty about her career. Toni Braxton said, Dustin and Blue, and I quote, "When the career thing happened for me, it was a bad thing. I remember when I told my sisters they were crying. My sister Tracy was the one who said to me, you know, when you make it, you can help us. I always try to abide by it, but the responsibility of it was so heavy." Okay. She also told Iyanla that I'm sorry, I'm about to cry. Toni Braxton told Iyanla that her career would have soared if it wasn't for her sisters. The guilt that she has, because when she did get the record deal, her mother constantly said to her, do not forget about your sisters. And that's because it made her career stagnant. That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. And that the reason I want to bring that up because look, when Blue talked about the fact that, you know, you said what, 2 birds, 1 bread?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Toni Braxton is the superstar of the family, and it's fine. Everybody knows that. She is the living legend. And she was selected from L.A. Reid to be the solo star out of her sisters. If you watched the Unbreak My Heart Lifetime movie, you would see, and it was based on Toni's memoir, you would see that Miss Evelyn, the character, the actress Debbie Morgan, who played Miss Evelyn, is saying constantly, don't forget about your sisters. Like, it is what it is. And when the reality show conversation came up, Miss E took Toni aside and said, baby, do it for your sisters. So to be told the moment you were, and around, listen, I think Toni Braxton does, I may have got this wrong. I think Toni Braxton was like her early 20s or maybe 19, something like that. When early 20s, when she got the opportunity from L.A. Reid, the Braxton Family Values happened like 15 years ago. So a large part of your career, your mother is still telling you, don't forget about your sisters.
Yeah.
And do you guys think when it comes to this pressure from Toni, is that a part of the reason why Tawanda and Trina constantly make sure she is, you know, praised?
Yeah, and I also think that Tawanda and Trina may not have interest in a legitimate pursuit of solo superstardom in their own right.
Yeah,
they've been on TV for 10 fucking years. You know what I'm saying? Trina has consistently done things outside of the show. She had her restaurant, Bar Chicks, which started out as a mobile bartending service and then evolved into a brick and mortar establishment. For years, she had that down in Atlanta. Now we see her, you know, filming as a real estate agent who is focusing on clients from entertainment and, you know, the entertainment world. Again, venturing off to do something else. She has put out music and had her little fun moments, party or go home. We all know the hand, you know, but I don't think that they had a desire for the relentless pursuit like we saw from Tamar. Tamar played chess with that. She had a solo album back in the day that she put out that people love. But for a while, right, she wasn't in pursuit of stardom like that. When she decided that she wanted that, we saw her break that wall down with Vince, get him on board, and then she went after it. It was important to her. I don't think the same desire is there. So I say that to say that I think that Tracy and Tawanda have gleefully accepted their subordinate role and subordinate capacity to Toni Braxton's majority role or majority capacity in their relationship in that way. They're fine being number 2. You know what I mean? And I don't think Tamar is because she wanted it for herself. I think it's that simple.
That's her biggest sin. Like we always talk about how Tamar's biggest sin is being embarrassing. And listen, I love how you broke that down about how they resolve themselves, because it could be a thing where everybody back in the day, at least, wanted to be famous, but not everybody wanted the work that came with it, right? Everybody thinks it's real cute to be J-Lo until you have to realize you have to be at the trailer at 4 a.m. with a full beat after doing 2-a-days and eating nothing but protein. So I think the middle sisters wanted the optics and the perks, but they were like, oh, you gotta work. A boo. Like, I'm gonna go right back to just being a sidekick, right? What I do think happened is, though, in their mind, we're not Toni Braxton, and so it was not even our fault. And so we should all be resigned to not be Toni Braxton in the family. Tamar and her work ethic, to your point, showed that, wait a minute, maybe there actually could have been room for more than one Toni Braxton in the family, and we just fucking lazy. Sorry, excuse me, I don't mean to swear. Let me fix my language.
I do.
So Tamar, it's okay. I wasn't sure it was my first little cuss. So it was like, if we're gonna pretend we had no choice, but the baby who's the punchline runs past us and shows that we might have had a choice, I want you to come back in your lane, because no, there's only one Toni Braxton. If you do it too, that makes us look even lazier. But there comes a time when we have to admit that if I'm Toni Braxton and this was supposed to be my tithe, to Dustin's point earlier, it wasn't supposed to interfere. It never occurred to me that you might be competition and between siblings. I'm one of 8. Between siblings, there becomes this thing sometimes of you can be happy for your sibling, but they're often a reflection of how you're doing. And if you don't like what's in the reflection, the sibling gets an attitude, right? The sibling gets a whatever. And Toni had a moment where she was going through some ups and downs as Tamar was ascending. And my gut is telling me she might have felt
Head
away.
over to my Patreon account. That's patreon.com/BeCarlosKing. Again, patreon.com/BeCarlosKing to watch this full episode.